Okay.
So, church this morning was all about the value of mothers in not necessarily in the home, but in a child's future. What did you think about this morning?
About the role of a mother well, one thing I know is true. Nobody will ever love you like your mother,
Mm.
right? They say that. That seems to be true in a lot of cases, right? Like moms put up with a lot of stuff from their kids,
Right.
and they seem to take it better than anybody else can. Like moms will give you more grace than anybody else in your life. I like what he said about honoring your mom and what she had poured into his life. And I was really impressed. At our church today, the pastor talked about, obviously it's Mother's Day. His mom died a year ago today. And he got up there today and he honored her and he delivered and he honored what she had poured into his life. That was really powerful.
Hmm.
And that had to be really, really hard.
Right.
I have my mom still in my life. You've got your mom in your life still. We honor our moms. I know my mom has put up with me in a whole lot of ways, who I've chosen for a partner. She's had to put up with that.
Mm.
Different decisions I've made, where I've moved, what I've done for work. I mean, my mom has put up with a lot in my life. So I honor my mom. I'm grateful for what she did. My mom definitely it's interesting because what are your thoughts on like who carries the standard in the home biblically? Who has more weight, the mom or the dad, in the spiritual life of the family?
Mm. That's a good question. So, today's, like, even out of the Bible discussion was about how the mom's influence is the backbone of the faith of the child, was how they were talking, right? Talking about Timothy and his mother and his
Yeah.
grandmother. Um, but like the statistics are actually say something a little bit different, which is really interesting
What do
because
the
the
statistics say?
statistics say that if the father in the home has a faith, the child is 90% likely to have the same faith as through their childhood and when they grow up. They're
As the
90% to
father.
choose it. So it's those stats actually are specifically out of Christianity. If the
Interesting.
father in the home is a Christian, there's a 90% chance that child will be baptized and adopt that faith. If it just the mother in the home is a Christian, the numbers drop down to like low 30s.
Interesting. Now, this is was the study or the statistic, do you know, is it looking out throughout their entire life?
I don't remember.
Because I mean, obviously that would be a long time, but I would also wonder, because I have seen that. I've seen a lot of single mom homes also where the children don't necessarily adopt the mom's faith,
Right.
especially if the dad was off being a goober, he wasn't a believer, right? So it does seem like if the dad is rooted and grounded, that the children seem to kind of fall in that path statistically.
Right.
I would say that I've observed that for sure. What is the verse in scripture that says something about, like, if you're in a home with an unbeliever, let's just say with an unbeliever, you've got different faiths,
Right.
okay, that your values don't necessarily align, but it says if you can live and dwell with them in peace, stay with them, that they might be saved or sanctified, or there's a verse about that.
Yeah, and I don't remember the exact wording, but my remembrance of it is actually that they'll be saved through you.
Right.
And so, actually, I believe that verse is about a man marrying a woman who believes differently than he does, that she can be basically covered by your faith as the man.
Interesting. Interesting. I think in my understanding, my thought was that it could go either way.
Maybe, and I could be remembering wrong.
Interesting. We're gonna have to look that
We
up.
do need
And
to look at.
so
If
we're
we knew where to look, we could
we're
look it up right now.
discussing family today.
Yep.
We're discussing family's role in society. This is the Hold the Bridge podcast. And the reason we're talking about this is because it is statistically proven throughout history that the cornerstone of any society was a nuclear family.
Yes.
Okay. So by definition, describe what is a nuclear
Oh,
family?
nuclear family being a husband and a wife with children, a complete unit as a part of society, with the family being the focus of the family. That's my understanding of the definition of a nuclear family. Is it's a husband and a wife and their children with shared values, shared living. Like this is who we are, and it was valuable enough that you don't break it up,
Mm.
right? Like back when that was a major value, divorce numbers were way lower. And I've seen the arguments about how, well, yeah, people just stayed when they shouldn't have stayed. I'm not even talking about that, because if this discussion that we're in this second is about the value of the nuclear family in society, society gets stronger and stronger and stronger when the family is a focused high value, period.
Mm-hmm.
When family is, because more children, a society dies if it is not having children. No, you cannot argue it in any way.
Right. And there's a number to it.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
less
have
than
more.
1.5 or something, or is it higher than that?
There needs to be, you need to produce more than you're losing. So it's like 2.8 or 3 children per family or something is
Yeah, there's a
the numbers that are
specific number.
required for society to build and grow, which is necessary for society to remain strong.
Right.
Right. And we're in America, we're down to like 1.3 kids or something like that.
People
or
are having
or
1.5
0.8.
kids.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how you have half a kid.
We
but...
might be at 0.8 actually. I don't remember.
Although I think I've seen some kids that, never mind.
Wow. Right. And so we're in a really interesting place because
you laugh. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I do. It is ironically humorous. I just won't laugh out loud at it. Because I very much believe that there is an agenda to reduce the population on the earth. There is an agenda to control as many people as can possibly be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things I've witnessed that gets more and more and more obvious as the years go on is the deliberate destruction of the family.
Right.
And that happens from so many different angles. One of the major ones we've gotten to witness over the last decade, especially, is the feminization of men.
Right.
Because the feminization of men always throughout history results in the masculinization of women. They must step in to fill the role that men are abandoning.
Right.
And really interestingly, you can be encouraged to adopt that as normal if you see it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've watched my whole life, remember when homosexuality was not a very, very popular thing to be when I was younger, and slowly over time watching, such and such an actor or actress or athlete or all these famous people all of a sudden slowly start showing up as being gay. All of a sudden there's a homosexual human being in every film. Like there's no films these days that do not have an alternative marriage or an alternative sexuality choice,
including Disney.
Especially Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can make that normal, if you can make the feminization of men normal, it will accelerate I'm going to say it this way, people might disagree, but the decline of the society.
Right.
We can weaken the society by making something like that normal.
Right.
Because it will become more popular and more popular and more popular. And it will become more popular for the man to speak less and just follow his wife's lead and not have his own opinions or values. We can make that more popular by showing it over and over and over and over again, putting it in every TV show and every comedy and every whatever. We can make it popular.
Mm-hmm.
That, in my opinion, that's one of the major attacks on the family we have now. And
well, so let me back up and let me ask you a question. We're talking about holding the bridge.
Yeah.
And let's imagine for a moment that America is behind us, okay? And we're standing on the bridge, and in front of us is an enemy.
Right.
Okay. We've already determined that, not based on opinion, but based on fact, the nuclear family is the society and determines the health of a country and a society. So with that fact established, would we say the nuclear family is under attack?
Yes.
let's discuss real quick before we get into like gender roles and sex and any of these other things. Let's talk and discuss about what are all the ways that we see that the family is under attack, the nuclear family is under attack. Let's go down through that list, and then we can deep dive and we'll cherry pick and talk about some of them.
Right.
So I could name one. Mom and dad no longer in the home; they're both out working.
Yep.
Someone else is raising your kids. Your family's under attack. That's a problem. Someone else is raising your children. You're out chasing dollars to provide. Somebody else is raising your kids. I see that as a big problem for the nuclear family.
Yep.
Do you agree?
I do agree.
Okay.
But I'll like, actually, I'm really glad we went here. We also don't. A situation has been created where it becomes very, very difficult to do anything but that. Like
well,
that.
exactly.
That's the attack.
Oh, we're not just gonna give an opinion on this. We're gonna dive into like we're under attack, but we're also gonna validate your feelings in that what the excuse that someone's gonna say, but Graham, but Brad, I have to work. We agree. Yes. We agree. You currently have to do this in order to make it by or to succeed in whatever was that something I dropped or something?
No, I did.
In order to currently succeed, you're in this situation, just like with food that we'll get to in a minute. But go ahead.
That's what I just wrote down.
Food.
Well, hormonal imbalance.
Oh, I'll talk. I'm gonna go all in on that.
Hormonal imbalance, deliberate manipulation of hormones.
Deliberate manipulation of hormones and genetics.
Yes,
we're gonna discuss.
Which happens through what we eat, what we smell.
Right.
How much plastic is in our lives.
Right.
All of that.
So family not in the home.
Yep.
You're not in the home. You're not raising your kids because you have to be out doing something else.
Yep.
Okay. So you're put in a situation. Food.
Yep.
Food is changing your genetics. We can dive into that one. There's a study called Pottinger's Cats. If you've never heard of it, go read it.
Okay.
Dr. Pottinger's Cats. He took like 1,000 cats and gave one a whole raw food diet and the other one a processed food diet. And the difference of what happened, the men became passive,
right,
and feminine, and the female cats became overly aggressive. After a while, they stopped having sex. The kittens were having deformities, right, and it took generations to actually undo the problems. And he said this is the same thing that's going to happen with humans, and it's exactly what we see today,
right,
through processed foods. So chemicals.
Right.
We're surrounded by chemicals, so we're chemically being slowly castrated.
Right.
Chemically being altered in our hormones. I mean, you talk about both aggressively and subtly. Talk about birth control. Birth control is horrendous. I would not recommend for anybody to ever be on birth control because of the side effects from what it does and what it can change in you at a very deep and like lasting level.
Right.
But what else do you see? In what other ways would you say the family in America is under attack?
The authority, the levels of authority have been deliberately shifted. So, for example, especially these last few years, we're in a place where teachers have more authority than the parents, or the child is allowed to believe that they have more authority than their parents. They get to choose for themselves. Well, lots of different things, but they have more right. They should have more rights than what their parents' rules are. And it's being allowed to be that. It's okay to backtalk your mom these days, and mom's just supposed to find some tiny consequence for disrespect, things like that. So, but the shifting of authority, and it happens on all the levels. She's allowed to disrespect him. He's allowed to disrespect her. They don't kids are out of the house, so that doesn't even happen, but they're allowed to disrespect their parents.
Right.
Right.
Now, let me ask you, because we just talked about this yesterday because of a situation I'm dealing with right now. Is questioning your parent and asking them for an explanation why the same thing as disrespecting them?
No, absolutely not.
Is questioning your government and asking them why disrespecting the government, or are we supposed to just obey? And if you don't just obey without questioning, Are you just? And I know this
Talking
is
about the family today, Graham, not.
Big Brother's watching.
It's true, he is, and now he knows how we think.
Yeah.
No, asking questions respectfully is not a challenge of authority, because
An insecure person will see it
an
that way,
insecure
though.
person will see it that a person who does not have good reasons and values to back up those reasons will see it as a challenge of authority.
Right.
They don't have any other option because they're not certain of their own authority.
Right.
So because a person is not certain of their own authority, when somebody questions it, it now amplifies the way they feel about themselves, which is an insecurity thing. Now I'm on the defensive if it was me, right? And so, and but like this whole topic we're talking about right now is about the changes of levels of authority. We are deliberately allowed to believe that we do not have any. We are the way the system is actually set up is the family, the people, like let's talk about on a nation scale. It goes highest level of authority, the people. Next level of authority, the state.
Right.
Next level of authority, the federal. Does that sound the way it's put out every day? That sounds
No.
absolutely reversed.
Right. Because the document literally starts with "we the people," not "we the government." It's "we the people."
Right. But because we are shown in everything, in how we're raised in school and what we read and what we watch on TV, that the level actually is, oh, the FBI is here, the federal level is here. They're the highest authority. They get to take power from the police who are in your town, right? They get to like, oh, the FBI, the federal, it goes, the way we're led to believe is federal, state, people.
Right.
And so because we believe that's the level of authority we have, when a police officer shows up at your door, we believe we have to do everything he says. Or when the IRS sends a letter to your mailbox, you believe, we have no choice but to do everything it says. Why? Because they're the highest level of authority. Right. Not true.
Not necessarily true.
Now, I'm not saying don't deal with that letter, and I'm not saying don't listen to the police officer. I'm saying that if you don't walk to the door understanding that this is your home, you are the ultimate authority here, no matter who's at the door, you act differently.
Right.
And you allow them to challenge that authority if you're not solid in it. Well, the same thing happens in the family when, well, I mean, we could talk right now about spouses who disagree, who aren't united in front of the children. So a man now,
I wonder what the percentage of spouses that fall into that category are.
I don't know.
How many spouses do you know that are like fully unified in front of the kids? They'll discuss things behind closed doors and work it out, but in front of the kids, those kids never know that mom and dad are not on the same page on something.
Yeah, it's
rare.
I have not seen it a lot.
It's rare.
I'm blessed to have grown up in it, but I don't see it very often. But it creates a place where, let's just pretend that I'm the father in a home where my wife disagrees with me in front of the kids. I don't really have to pretend there, but let's say.
Try really hard, Brad.
Yeah. How do I know what level of authority I have with my child when I know that if I do or make a decision or discipline incorrectly, it's going to get undone or repaired, or my child is going to be told he shouldn't have said that or done that. Like, my level of authority is now in question of myself because I don't know where I am allowed to operate in this home. Which means if my child challenges me, what do? I don't have a solid, here's where I stand in my authority. No, you cannot say that. No, you cannot talk to your mother like that. No, you cannot go out and stay past 11. No, you cannot ride your bike 6 miles away. Like, where's my authority? It's gone. And in my opinion, that's one of the biggest attacks on the family, is to remove the authority from everywhere, or at least to upset the way it works best. Yeah.
I know we could both I know what I've experienced in my life. I've
Right.
I've been through some scenarios where, I had a stepdaughter, and trying to raise her was extremely difficult,
Right.
and trying to find my place and where is my authority, what authority do I have, so that way I can help turn this human being into a good human being
Right.
with my influence, right? With what knowledge, skills, abilities, what can I do?
Right.
And it was an insanely difficult situation,
Right.
to be able to do that, where um, it was just very challenging. So I've lived through that. That's been hard, and thankfully, like she's turned out great,
Right.
which is good. I don't know how much of that was due to me or thanks to me, or just me just trying to stay out of the way eventually, because that's what I did.
Right.
Eventually, I just stayed out of the way because
Yeah.
it's challenging. And this is like, okay, this is relevant because this is almost every home in America at this point. Almost every home in America has stepchildren. Almost every home in America at this point is a blended family. Blended families are difficult.
Right.
It has its own unique sets of challenges that if you've never been in a blended family, you just don't know. It's different, and it's challenging, right?
Right. But I would
Um,
say the only reason it's difficult and challenging is because nobody knows where the authority is.
right.
Right. Well, I'm not actually the blood father of that child. So if I need to discipline that child, can I?
Right.
Right. Am I actually the priority in this home to the queen of this kingdom? Am I actually the king? Or are the children who are from the previous kingdom more important than me?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I could go on in this one. All right. In America today, the number one, I'm going to dive right in. I'm just going to tackle it. I'm not afraid to offend people,
Right.
and things need to be talked about. Okay. If you go onto dating apps in America today as a male, there are a lot of women with children. Okay. That's fine. There are men of us out there who will love and accept your children as our own.
Yes.
Not a problem. But the moment a woman says, my children are my world, they come first, that is an immediate no.
It is.
It is an immediate no, because you have already told me beforehand. And it's not that I'm trying to be number one. I'm not. It's that I'm trying to make our kingdom, our
Yes.
life number one, what we're building number one. And if your children are already number one in your life, there's no room to build something new. You've already
Right.
established this is your priority, and you are not my priority.
Right.
I'm not trying to be your priority, but I'm trying to bring us into an alignment of a priority of something we're going to go after.
Right.
There's no room for that. And I understand where they're coming from. I get that there are situations that women have come out of, men that have left, abusive men, that, like, you're a single mom for one reason or another, and your children have had to become your priority. Sometimes even just for you to survive or have hope or move on or carry on, or in
Right.
different situations. So I understand all of that, but you have to be careful, as a single mom, that if that is your priority, you have no room in your life to actually have a truly healthy relationship. I don't see the two of those being able to coexist.
No.
I just can't see it.
So let's talk about kingdom thinking. We
Right.
both talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
So if I, as a king, I am a king, I am building a kingdom.
Yes.
I find a queen who, together, we can make this kingdom bigger than anything we possibly could alone.
Mhm.
Like the children are the heirs to my kingdom.
Right.
However, if I bring a queen in who already has children, they're the heirs to a different kingdom.
Hmm.
And now I am raising, training, providing for, investing in children who will inherit a different kingdom.
Right. That's an interesting perspective. I see it a little bit different, but I agree.
Yeah.
Is there a way? Because I look at it and I'm like, if there was a woman out there right now and she has kids, and I bring her into my life, and we're going to build this together, and the dad is not in their life, those children they're in my kingdom.
Yes.
We're building something for these kids.
Yes.
And that includes, for me, if I adopt.
Yes.
If I adopt, you're in my kingdom.
Yeah.
You're part of the inheritance and blessing that I'm gonna pour into you when I'm gone,
Yeah.
right? While I'm here and while I'm gone. But if the dad is still alive and he's still in in their lives, they still carry his last name. They're technically still in his kingdom, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think you'd be hard. I shouldn't say that. I would say that my opinion is most men wouldn't bat an eye at taking somebody else's child and adopting them into become heirs of their own kingdom.
That's true. Most men I
Most men
know
have no
don't
problem
have a
with it.
problem with. That's
No,
not the problem.
the problem is, am I going to invest resources that are for my kingdom into somebody who's going to take them and add them to a kingdom they're already a part of somewhere else?
Right.
Like, just on a foundational level, that creates a concern in me to think about.
I never thought about that. I could just be stupid though, where I'm like, I will pour into people that will never pour anything back into my life.
Right.
And I have done this over and over again, like in life. Like
Yes.
I will be beyond generous. Like I will go out of my way for somebody that will never do the same for me,
Right.
including children in this. Like I would have no problem having conversations, pouring in resources and helping them as long as I understand like God gave me a family, he gave me children,
Right.
he gave me a kingdom. That should be my priority.
Right. But the reason we're talking about this right now is because we're talking about a queen who has told the king, "You're not the top priority in this relational hierarchy.
Yeah.
My children are." So, because you're right, most men actually would still choose to adopt somebody else's children who are going to leave and go to another kingdom and
true.
pour everything into them.
Men will sacrifice.
Men will do it, no problem.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say all men because all men's not true, but
Right.
most men, in my opinion, would do that. But why would I choose that and not actually be the king in the queen's life?
Mm.
Like, good, bad, or otherwise, it's that kind of choice for a man. Okay, well, I'm gonna choose. I love her, so I'm gonna choose her children as well as make them my own, regardless of how that ends up. But I'm also going to choose a woman who will not choose me.
Right. Do you think most men think about this?
Nope.
They just kind of people let's be honest, people just kind of get googly-eyed, fall in love, start having sex, and then they find themselves in a situation
Yeah.
before they've really thought about it.
Yeah. Well, we had this conversation at dinner a couple weeks ago where it's a generic psychological mindset of a man will sleep with who he can get,
Right.
and a woman will marry who she can get. Well, actually, the true statement is a man will sleep with who he can get and believe he can get, and a woman will end up marrying who she can get and believe she can get. And so there's this block in most psychology of, this woman will sleep with me. I don't really know that I can do better, so I'll stay here.
Right.
And same with marriage, the other way. And I've never been a woman. Well, this lifetime I've not been a woman. So, but my understanding of that psychology is, well, here's a man who will love me and choose me. I'll marry him. I don't know that I can do better, so we stay. So it's mass settling in society because we're not taught who we are, to believe who we are, to think it's great, and know who we should be properly matched with. And so we settle, and a man settles for who will sleep with him. Why? Because whether you love it, hate it, or otherwise, men need sex. It is what makes them feel complete, makes them feel appreciated, makes them feel powerful, which are required for a man to function properly. And so a man sleeps with who he can sleep with, and oh, well, I'm getting sex here, so we'll hang on to this.
Right.
Whereas, and the other way for a woman is, well, I'm getting a husband here, I'm getting loved here, or someone who's supposed to love me. I'm getting this, so I'll stick with this without believing I can do more.
Interesting. Okay. So let's go back to our question again, because it's so easy. Like we can go on, we could turn any of these topics into a full podcast,
Right.
But what else is tearing the family in America apart? We talked about food. We've talked about the effects of that. We talked about education. We talked about the mom and dad working outside, which is that, by the way, that is my greatest passion.
Right.
One of the reasons I am on here, like here on earth, is to help people solve that problem
Right.
at this point in this time, how to make money from home or anywhere in the world so that way you can be free to be home with your kids and your
Right.
family, and not have to go out and serve a 9 to 5 in someone else's kingdom. You're out building somebody else's kingdom from 9 to 5.
Right.
My life song is, let me show you how to build your own kingdom.
Right.
Let you be the beneficiary, and so that way your children can thrive and you can be there for your kids, right? Like that is why Father put me on this earth, was to help solve that problem for people, and I'm
Right.
passionate about it. So that one touches for me a lot. But what other ways is the family under attack right now in our society?
Uh, I would say that the women's empowerment movement is a direct attack on family.
Okay, are we talking like feminism, like
Yep.
historical feminism at its root?
No, historical feminism, in my opinion, is not a bad thing, but what it has morphed into today, which is it's become a woman's power movement, right? Which is natural. I totally understand why it happens the way it happens.
Yep.
A group of people or an individual who believes that they are lacking power in some place, if they get the opportunity to, will grab every bit of power they can to fill that space.
That's true.
That's normal.
You know
It's how we
what?
all are.
I was thinking about this yesterday because I had a conversation with someone where I believe the original sin, the very first sin, was Eve believing that God was holding out on her. God had given Adam and Eve everything, and regardless of what you physically believe about, what kind of fruit or what happened in the garden, it says that they basically took the fruit, ate of it, their eyes were opened, but Satan was trying to tempt them with more knowledge.
Right.
This has been hidden from you, and so the belief is, well, God is withholding something from me, so there's more. I'm missing out. So my opinion is that the original fear, which is why it's one of the most powerful things, and we see this on the charts all the time, everything, FOMO.
Right.
The fear of missing out creates a lot of problems. Well, I think the original sin was actually FOMO. It was missing out. So I think that the feminism movement, in my opinion, is just another taste of FOMO, where women were led to believe that they were missing out on something, like
Right.
as if going out of the home and having a career and working a job is more rewarding and more fulfilling than having children or being a home caretaker, like being the home despotes, taking
Right.
care of the home, and that you'll be more fulfilled if you are equally as powerful as man in the
Right.
workplace and in this and that. And I think it's just all a lie.
Yeah, so the belief that got deliberately changed was that your role as a queen is not actually the role of a queen. It's the role of a servant.
Now I can just feel somebody's blood boiling right now already because we already mentioned this. Just hang on. There's more, because what Brad and I are about to say, because I know right where we're gonna go with this, y'all feminists are gonna love. You're gonna chew on the next piece of what we're about to say for a long time in a good kind of way. You're gonna like this because it's not just like we think women shouldn't have power and they shouldn't have this. That's not what we think. In fact, I know Brad agrees with me. Brad, what is the most powerful piece on the chessboard?
That's right. The queen is the most powerful piece in the kingdom.
The queen is the most powerful piece.
The most powerful piece in the kingdom is the queen.
It's not the king. But if you don't have a king,
no kingdom.
There's no kingdom.
Yep.
The game is over.
Yep. Yeah, but somebody deliberately or accidentally figured out that if I can make the queen feel like she's a pawn, then she will become a king. And that, in my opinion, more than anything else, has destroyed the family.
Right.
And it's
true.
And the natural result of that is men either abandoning power or trying desperately to hang on to it. And both of those end up with things like abuse,
Yeah.
neglect, silence.
Mm-hmm.
Like it it's not, I'm not saying it's okay to be that way, but it's the natural result of like my power is being taken away. Do I walk away? Do I fight for it? If I fight for it, I'm fighting against my queen.
Yeah. This is where biblically my Bible thumper homies,
Right.
we would say this is the Ahab and Jezebel story,
Right.
where Ahab now becomes passive,
Right.
and you have this queen who rises up, who becomes a tyrant.
Right.
You know, so instead of people thinking that what we just said is like a bash against feminism or a bash against women's rights or women's power, anything like that, let's actually redeem this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take this and let's talk about, if we agree that like women are one of the most important, powerful pieces in the nuclear family. A nuclear family does not exist without a woman.
That's correct.
Let's instead take this in a direction of, let us empower women right now.
Yeah.
In a truthful, healthy way. Let's discuss about, because this is Mother's Day, let's honor the moms, and let's go in, like, let's talk a little bit about the power that women have and what they can do.
Right.
The positive impacts they can play in their home, in their role with their children, with their husband, and in society. Let's talk about that for women. Let's talk about how the queen can play on the chessboard, and she can move in any direction.
Yeah.
As far as she wants. She is the most powerful piece.
Yes. Yep. I mean, I would say we're in a, I don't want to start edifying women in a way that makes the nuclear family the ideal, because we're in a place in society right now where you get to choose what you want to be.
Right.
Every woman gets to choose what kind of queen she wants to be. Mm-hmm. So the challenge I would put into society, period, is dig down and figure out truly, beyond any traumas, beyond any fears, beyond any what you've been told to be, what kind of queen do you want to be? Is there somewhere inside where you want to be the stay-at-home mom taking care of the home? That role, that is a solid, powerful queen, in many ways more powerful than the business CEO queen.
Oh, absolutely.
And if that's the queen you want to be, then that's doable. Mm-hmm. And also, if you want to be this powerful CEO, billionaire queen, okay. This is the time of, this is really the first time in history that is available to any woman.
Any woman.
You can be the powerful, independent CEO queen.
You can be successful today regardless of your skin color, your race, your sexual orientation. There are opportunities for every human being today that you can become as rich as you want to become and successful as you want to become.
Right.
Non-discriminatory.
Right.
I know, because I operate in the markets. The markets don't care if you're straight, gay, black, white. They don't care.
Right.
They do not discriminate. No. It has become an equal playing field, and anybody that says, or they pull a race card or any of that, or white privilege, or any of that crap, I will immediately invite them to come to my call and say, okay, if that's your opinion, I will gladly teach you a skill set that will show you that that is not true.
Right.
It's not true. We live in a day and age where there are opportunities for any person to succeed that wants to succeed, right, and sets their mind to it, believes, and puts in the process. Yeah. But I totally agree with what you just said there.
Yeah. I mean, if we go back to, I'm just going to be the bad guy for a second. Let me just be the bad guy for a second. You
can carry the darkness well here?
I can carry the darkness very well. If I wanted to destroy a family,
mm-hmm, how would you do it?
If I wanted to do it in this generation, mm-hmm, right? If I wanted to do it
Ooh, this
Five.
is good.
If I want to do it 5 generations from now, I go after the
All right.
children.
Tell me how you would destroy a family in this generation.
If I want
Go
to
ahead.
destroy a family 5 generations from
Think
now,
like the enemy for a second.
yeah, 5 generations from now, I go after the children, the
Mhm.
children of this generation. I retrain them how to think in a way that will eventually destroy the family.
Mm.
Right? I teach them about their own authority. I teach them they get to pick their gender. I teach them that the medical system is a good thing. I teach them that, oh, you feel depression, you should be taking drugs. I teach them that plastic is our friend. I teach them all these things so that 5, 6 generations from now, they're unhealthy, unable to have strong children, their marriages cannot survive. If I want the future destroyed, I go after the children. If I want things destroyed this generation, I go after the queen. I go after the queen. Why? Because she is the most powerful piece in the game, in the kingdom. If you're playing chess and you lose the queen, you can still win. But it
I've
is
never won a game without the
so
queen.
difficult. You spend the rest of the game trying to get a pawn to the other side so you can get a queen back.
Right.
If I want to destroy a family this generation, I teach a woman that she should be independent and powerful and not listen to her husband, and he's not an authority, and he has no authority in the home, and he is weak. I teach her to disrespect him. If I want to destroy a family this generation, I teach her to disrespect the king, who's supposed to be directing all the other pieces to protect her.
Yeah.
Now, that is not me saying anything about weak men, because there are a lot. And the queen is forced to step in and take the roles that he is supposed to be filling. This is not me saying that she should be listening, obeying everything he says. That's not the kind of domination that I support at all. But if I wanted to destroy, and I would actually challenge anybody, if you think I'm sexist, whatever, but if you wanted to destroy a family this generation, out of the available people for you to go after, who are you going after?
I'm going after the queen.
Everybody is going after the queen.
Mm-hmm.
That is the logical choice to destroy the family. It's not the king.
I got to be real.
Okay.
Because I don't really know how to be any other way. And the internet today is so full of fake people that put stuff on the internet that their life behind the scenes is just a mess, and they make it seem like it's great.
Right.
I feel like I am the king trying to push a pawn across the board right now because my queen got taken out.
Yep.
And it is hard for me to not take responsibility, whether it was my fault or not. I will take responsibility in every area that I can, that I take ownership of my chessboard.
Right.
My queen got taken out.
Yep.
And I feel like in life right now, I'm in that position. I'm trying to push the pawn across. I'm trying to get a pawn across the board to find a queen to come alongside me and build a kingdom.
Right.
And there's a lot of queens that already have their own kingdom.
Yeah.
And they're not interested in
right.
partnering.
Right.
But what I would say in that is, like, ladies, if you're a woman and you're watching this, you got to be prayed up. You got to be you got to keep it tight with Jesus, because you got to make sure you're clean and on edge, because you're right. Like, y'all are the number one target.
Yeah, because you're the most powerful.
You are.
You take out the backbone.
Yeah. Listen, I understand that there's this saying out there that men are the thermostat and women are the thermometer. I think that is bull crap.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but a woman can really set the temperature in a home and in a relationship. Like, I think women are actually more powerful than what society and what people give them credit for in a lot of ways. But y'all women are powerful.
They are.
You got to protect your mind.
Yep.
And I think also as men, we need to protect our women.
Yes.
But I totally agree with you. I think if you were going to go after the nuclear family today, you'd go after the woman.
Yes.
If you wanted to destroy it today.
Right.
And what can I say? It's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's working. Look at the divorce rate, whether you're in the church or not. It's working.
Yeah.
And what's scary is what is going to be the repercussion a generation or two from now because of where we're at right now and what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why this podcast exists. That's why we're having this discussion.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't get to tell anybody what to do, but I'd recommend you hold the bridge.
yeah,
You stick to the values you know to be good. And whatever you think about, however what happened, however I was, let's put it on me. However I was treated, however I was spoken to, however I was abused, however I was anything, if I take that and use it as an excuse to be selfish, I have abandoned good values. And it is only in holding good values, no matter what happens. And that's not me saying stay in an abusive marriage. That's not what
Right.
I'm saying. I'm
No,
saying
that's not what
hold
we're
the
saying.
values. Be a good human being. Oh no, I can't say that. I know too much about language now. Be a quality man and or woman.
Yeah.
Be a value driven man or woman. Be kind. Be patient, loving, kind, peaceful, generous, forgiving. Go through 1 Corinthians 13. Be those things. Be love no matter what. Because as soon as we abandon them for selfishness, the kingdom is lost. And that's men and women, and children have less responsibility, but they're growing into people who need to have that full responsibility. But that's both parties. But I will say, no, I'm not going to say that. We have left a world where we understand that she is the most powerful part of the kingdom.
True.
And like I was created to protect a people. The thing I do that does that the best is try to bring kingdom thinking back into the home.
Right.
Because if I wake up every day with the understanding that the most powerful person in my kingdom is my priority, yes, because I love her, and also because she's the most powerful part of my kingdom,
Right.
everything changes. If she wakes up understanding that, hey, I'm the most powerful part of my kingdom, and also I don't have a kingdom without him, he's my priority, everything changes. If I wake up with the understanding, and I wake up every day understanding that my children are the heirs to my kingdom, letting them watch whatever they want to watch on TV is not training heirs or raising good heirs for my kingdom. Letting my children, buying them whatever they ask for is not raising good heirs to my kingdom. Not disciplining them when they lie or cheat or steal is not raising good heirs to my kingdom. They are the heirs to my kingdom. They will be controlling the kingdom when I am gone.
Right.
Changes the family. It changes how we think. It changes how we move. It changes how we speak. And in this being Mother's Day, if I could just snap my fingers and bring one thing back into every home, it would be kings and queens making each other the highest priority in the home, with the understanding that she is the most powerful, and without him, there's no kingdom. That thing alone would change everything.
Right.
It would change everything. Abuse would disappear overnight.
Right.
Overnight. In an instant, with the snap of a fingers, there would be no more abuse. You don't abuse the most powerful piece of your kingdom.
Right.
Your
greatest asset.
Your greatest asset. Both ways that goes.
Yeah.
The king is the greatest asset to the kingdom she is in. She is the greatest asset to the kingdom he is in. You build it together or it falls.
I agree with you. I think if there was one thing we could accomplish in the future of this podcast, it would be the unification of a man and a wife into understanding that, first of all, there's a heavenly kingdom.
Right.
And second of all, oh, hold on. Gotta be careful with your hand gestures on this camera. There's a a heavenly kingdom. So there's a kingdom beyond us, which we are a part of,
Right.
but we are barons. We are land barons within our own kingdom
Right.
that we are establishing, that our family line, our lineage, the family blessings, and the curses, everything that go on with that genealogically throughout the family, we have a piece that we are responsible for, which is within the greater kingdom. God gave this piece to us.
Right.
And what I think it's your heart and my heart is for men and women, because it's the longing of our heart, right?
Right.
Is for men and women to understand, like, come into unity, discuss what your kingdom is, and get on board with both of you driving in that direction.
Right.
Understanding that that is the priority. And when you do that, now all the other priorities begin to fall in order. You understand that you and her both need to be good.
Right.
And then when you're good, the kids are good. Right? Everything trickles down because there's this centerpiece and purpose of what you're both aiming after, and it's the same thing. You're in unity.
Right.
It's going to make everything better. One thing I wanted to touch on, because we talked about feminism and women in the home, we talked about roles a little bit. I don't believe that women shouldn't work.
Right.
I just want to clarify, like, I believe women are really powerful, and I believe women are really gifted. And when there's a partnership there and you're doing it for the purpose of partnership in the kingdom, it can go way beyond
Right.
what a career kind of fulfillment can be or anything like that, because it comes in line with the kingdom purpose. And also, like in Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman in the Bible, she's an investor. She goes out and buys a field. You know, like, my greatest dream is that, like, my wife can take my money and she knows how to go and invest in real estate. And she doesn't need my permission. We've set those funds aside.
Right.
And that woman is empowered to go out and slay, you know? Now, you know that saying, everybody's like, slay queen? Yeah. You go, like, slay queen, you go do that, but we're doing it in the bounds of, like, we're building something together here. But that dude, I would love that.
Right.
I would love to be like, here's $100,000. Go out and kill it. Like, go do it, because God gave you this interest and this gifting that I don't have, and we're partners in this. You know, I love that idea. You know, I want a woman who contributes and does that stuff. I don't want it to have to be her main burden. Like, it's my main burden to provide.
Yeah.
I'm here to provide and protect and create the environment for that.
Yeah.
But we will both work in our own ways. It's going to be different. We're not going to do the same thing. It's going to be different. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot, and I will never again get married if I cannot fully financially provide, so that that burden does not fall onto my queen. And one of the attacks on the family is that we are deliberately in a place where that is very, very difficult to do. The amount you have to make as a man, and also have time to be able to fill the other needs in the family, is very difficult. Like, there's a reason most households in America today are 2-income households. It's not because that's how they want to be.
Right.
It's because they cannot survive without it.
Right. And we're going to have to take it'll be an entirely separate episode. We'll go into economics and what we're facing with economics, but it's a serious problem. It's why my life is dedicated to that right now, because it's one of the biggest problems, is that we're now forced to have 2 to 3 jobs in one home.
Right.
Whereas years ago, you could have one job, and that afforded you to have 1 or 2 cars, a house, and you could afford life and be comfortable with one job.
Right.
You can't do that with one job anymore. That doesn't exist unless you have a very high-paying job or skill set. So that we are going to spend a whole episode talking about that, and maybe that'll be the next episode that we dive into. But this has been awesome so far. Is there any other ways or things that we can think about, or do you think that we've really covered the kind of the meat of the nuclear family and the importance? Like, we've established, it's like the nuclear family is the backbone of a society, whether you like it, hate it, or whatever your beliefs are, your orientation. That's a fact. It's not an opinion. You can go look up through society or through history that when the nuclear family falls apart, society falls apart and is gone within a certain amount of years.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
Or not basically, like that's how it is.
I mean, I don't think we have time today to talk through what's actually happening with the hormonal attacks. We also don't, it's a whole new episode to talk about the hypersexualization of women today.
Yeah, we'll talk about sex,
Which
men and women.
Yeah, but especially like that book, Sex and Culture, creates massive correlation over like 1,500 years of the connection between sexual freedom of women in a society and the collapse of a society. And so, if we know that that's the case, if I knew that's the case, then of course that's the attack. Yeah, you should be able to sleep with whoever you want. You should whatever. Yeah. OnlyFans. Let's create OnlyFans. You know,
sleep with whoever you want, whenever you want. There's no consequence.
You're right.
Well, it turns out there is consequences.
Right.
We're going to talk about them in one of the next episodes. So we're going to talk about sex and culture, sex and society.
Right.
We're going to talk about economics. We're going to talk about. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to talk about practical ways to make more money, how to become your own bank, how to get free in every kind of way. Like we're going to have a pretty deep focus on freedom and protection, and protecting the family and protecting the values. And then let's leave us with this question: do you believe society is worth saving, and why?
No, I don't believe society is worth saving.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the family is worth saving.
Do you believe America's worth saving?
Ooh. I believe that America was once and has the ability to be again the beacon for the world of the strong family.
Right.
We're not too far gone to correct it.
Right.
But we're close.
Is there a country out there that you know that does the nuclear family really well?
Ooh. Does the nuclear family really well? No, the Asian cultures have very, very strong family value focuses.
Right, that's
and
true.
Those families last generations and generations and generations very strongly. Now, I understand there's the argument of, because the levels of authority in the Asian cultures are very clear and they're not liked in Western culture.
Right.
I mean, you start looking at the divorce rates in the West versus the divorce rates in Russia, and Russia has very little, like
very low divorce rates.
Yeah, and
interesting.
Which is not what people want to, what some people want us to understand and think about. They have a very different family culture there. The Eastern European nations, family, faith first, family are very, very high values. But the West, so we're talking Western Europe, Israel, America, Canada, South America is very socialist, so it's a totally different ball game. But the West is lost.
It's under attack.
Yeah, massively.
Is the battle lost? Are we fighting for nothing, or can this be turned around?
So, great question. The reason I do Kingmaker, the reason I counsel, the reason I teach the things I teach is because regardless of whether society is lost, the thing I can affect is my own kingdom.
Right. And my kingdom is not lost.
Yeah, exactly. And I have the ability, if I choose right, if I work right, it could still all go to nothing, but I have the ability to make sure that my family is solid hundreds of years from now. By what I do now, I can set up the foundation so that hundreds of years from now, however far society has degenerated to, my family is still solid. That's the only thing I can focus on.
Right. Well, because in truth, there are three kingdoms.
Right.
There's more than that.
You're right.
But there's three kingdoms that we are directly in what's the word? We're engaged in three kingdoms.
Right.
There's God's kingdom.
Right.
There's our own kingdom, and then there's the kingdom of the United States.
Right.
And so, hold on. You gotta love when it does this. I did what I said don't do. Don't smile and wave at the camera. It will move. There's three kingdoms, and the three kingdoms God's kingdom is never going away.
Right.
If we do correctly and we make the correct moves, our kingdom endures. There are kingdoms that don't endure,
Right.
personal kingdoms that go away. But if we enact correctly, those kingdoms remain and continue. Our influence, our resources, our knowledge, wealth, that can continue on if we do it correctly.
Yes.
The United States also being a kingdom influenced by my kingdom and your kingdom, and if there's enough kingdoms that will hold the bridge,
Right.
the United States will endure.
Yes.
It will, and it will get better.
Right.
Right? Which we wanted to. I can't understand when people are like, they want to burn a flag or they want to be down with America. I'm not down with that,
Right.
And the first thing I think of is I think of like a Vietnam veteran or a World War II veteran. I think of someone who took bullets and watched their friends die because they were fighting for freedom.
Right.
And you carry that kind of action in front of one of those people.
Right.
Like, I didn't do that, and it still ticks me off. I still get upset when I see people that are anti-America. Why would you be anti-America? Don't be anti-America. We can make this kingdom better.
Right.
Because we have children. We're passing them on something, both in our kingdom and this greater kingdom of the United States. Like, our decisions are going to affect the world they grow up in.
Right.
We got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means to hold the bridge. Well, sir, have you said your piece?
I have.
I think this has been a great episode, and thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode. Hold the bridge.